from House Transportation. He's Congressman Tim Burchett. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us on a Friday evening. Your reaction to that report?
Well, it's 100% accurate. 28,000 gallons, if you can imagine that. And the toxic brew that it creates is incredible. And the fact that we're going to be putting these in a landfill and that weeks later one of them will ignite underground just creates another toxic soup mix. I predict it's going to be an economic and an environmental disaster.
And Congressman, it's not just salt water. Some of these lithium car batteries are spontaneously catching fire and combusting, even without, separate from flooding. I mean, one electric car battery fire, it's equal to putting out 4 houses on fire. 4 houses on fire. They heat up to a huge, something like 4,900 degrees Fahrenheit. But the White House continues to push a green transition to electric cars without even telling us the facts about them.
That's correct. And you got to remember, Biden wants to, by 2030, 50% of all the cars being sold be electric vehicles. They can't even handle 4%, which is about what we got on the road in California right now with the rolling blackouts. And you'll see that all over the country, and it will just multiply because it's not, they're here to stay. I just think we've got the horse before the cart with these things.
So we've got human rights abuses in places like Africa to child labor abuses, digging out in, mines these rare earth metals to make the batteries. And so there's that. You've got, in China, you've got Uyghur Muslims in slave labor camps in prison there making solar panels. And so there's little talk from John Kerry, President Biden, Al Gore about the human rights abuses and the problems with firefighters. I mean, one report came out, Congressman, 1,500 gallons of water, and it still wasn't enough to put that one electric car battery out.
Yes, ma'am. And of course, when they do get it out, of course, you got to remember all those carcinogens are going into the water table where they're forever chemicals, a lot of them, and they'll be carcinogens causing cancer for eternity. And those are some things we have not weighed out. And I believe this president is, again, way out of his league.
And you and your committee and you and the Republicans, have anybody challenged the Democrats on what we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am, we have. But of course, the problem is we're not in the majority, and they will not hear, nor will there is no debate. It's all that stuff you see on television, on C-SPAN, is all staged. And we're not, basically over half of the United States is not being heard because the Democrats will not allow any discussion.
It happens, too, to your point, when you drive an electric vehicle in the winter and there's salt on the roads, it could come up through the undershaft into the electric car battery. I mean, it's so dangerous. People are being advised to move their electric vehicles away from structures like homes and businesses in Florida. Your final word.
Well, when I was a kid, Fieros were coming out, or I was a young man, and there used to be signs on car washes that said, no Fieros are allowed in our car washes. That's what the same thing is with these electric vehicles. It's not true. It's not tried. And we need to move back to internal combustion, which we know we can handle that.
Really dangerous stuff. Congressman Burchett, thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend. Okay.